stand up and do a little movement, and then we'll sit right back down and meditate. Okay, so go ahead and stand up. And I haven't guided movement in a while. I think I'll do that. But also know that if there's anything I do that you don't want to do, then do your own thing. Just move for about 5 minutes. So this is called the standing warm-ups. It's a kind of practice that's done in Qigong and Tai Chi, but also shadow yoga. I used to teach shadow yoga, so this is still a practice that I do regularly. So let's stand in what's called stamba, the feet a little bit turned out, heels touching. And then your right hand is at your navel, left hand on top. And let the eyes rest at a comfortable angle at a downward cast. Or the eyes can be closed. And feel the breath beneath the hands. The belly expanding forward. And then the chest expanding. Then with the exhalation, the chest and the belly. And really feel that stability of the earth beneath you. Feel the soles of the feet softening against the floor. And then now we're going to open the feet parallel, the hands down by your side. I'll show you from the side view. So take your right foot slightly back behind the left, and then really root down into the standing leg and start to rotate the ankle to the right. 1, 2, 3. And let that foot rotation spiral up through the leg, loosen up the head of the femur in the socket. And then reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Stepping forward, and then point the back toes of the left foot. And same thing. 1, 2, keep going. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Draw the navel back towards the spine. That helps you with balance. Lift up through the crown of the head. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Feet hip-width distance apart. Now we come up to the top of the body and work our way back down. Release the chin down and then to the right. Make circles. And the circles can be small if the neck is sensitive. If you prefer not to circle the neck, you can also just go left and right like this. So we'll do 5. One more. Coming around to the chest and then reverse to the left. 1. As you're moving the head, feel the breath in the belly and feel the soles of the feet soften against the floor. Notice if the feet are gripping. 4, good. And 5, coming around to the chest. Inhale the face to neutral. Now we do the shoulders. Forward, up, down, and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And reverse. 1, 2, good. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then take the hands like so, interlace the fingers, and then bend and rotate the wrists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Relax the ridge of the shoulders. 9 and 10. We're double timing with the wrists. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that the chest or jaw, the face, throat get tight. Soften through the ridge of the shoulders and the neck. Breathe into the belly. Soften the feet. 9 and 10. Good. Release. And you're going to spiral to your right and then to the left. 1, 2. You can make big spirals. I don't because of my spine injury, but you can move more, twisting through the spinal column. And the head turns as the body turns. And you're tapping gently the front of the chest with the front hand and the kidney region with the back hand. That's it. Last time to the right, last time to the left. Arms descend down and the hips start. 1, 2. Go completely soft, relax through the face, the chest, the arms dangle. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. And 10. Reverse. 1, 2. Your breath is just a natural kind of even breath. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Bring the feet together and then bend from the back of the knees. So instead of bending like this, you bend deeply with the knees, bend at the ankles, and then bring the hands, turn the fingers in and bend the elbows a little bit. Notice if the shoulders are coming up, draw the shoulders down away from the back and start to make circles with the knee. 1, 2, 3. Keep the heels on the ground as you come around. And make sure your feet are parallel. Feet are together and parallel. Yeah. That's good on the knees. Better for the knees there. 9 and 10. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Inhale, feet hip-width distance apart. Inhale and then exhale, waving the torso down as you bend the knees. 1, 2, 3. This is called Sarpa, the snake. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Inhale. Exhale. And again, inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Now make fists and pound the ridge of the shoulders. Let the hands go heavy. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Now, inhale, cross the arms, and you're going to bow like a sheep. Exhale. Shake out the torso as you do that. Inhale. 2 more times. Inhale. Don't hold back. Sunday night was louder. The kirtan, remember? People were like, woo! I was like, whoa, okay. Good. Bring your hands together. It was great. I loved it. And exhale. You know, when you advertise it as kirtan, people are ready to come make some noise. You know, so you'd say, "Ba like a sheep," and they're going to do the top at the top of their lungs. It was fun. Is that enough? Do you want to do more? Do you want to do horse dance for 10 minutes? Actually, come into it for just a little bit. Just a little bit. So horse stance, you've got your feet hip-width distance apart and then they're kind of turned out. This is really good for meditators. Yeah, so one way we come into it, the shadow yoga style, is you inhale. So from here, inhale, open the circle, then exhale, bend the elbows, bring your hands right in front of the navel like you're holding a ball of chi. Not cheese, chi, energy. Manny's the only one who laughs at my jokes. Okay. And you're not going to be laughing in a minute. Feet are a little bit closer together. You're a little wide there. Yeah. Yeah, so this isn't a super wide, like grand plie type thing. This is more narrow. Heels are right under the hips. And the upper body is completely relaxed. And this is like, feel the burn. You feeling it yet? Yes. Breathe into it. Connect more to the bone layer of the body. This builds stability. Stability of mind. Okay, flow with me here. We're going to exhale, release the hands down. Don't come out of the stance though. Then inhale. Bring the hands up to the face. Exhale, turn the palms away. Inhale, draw the palms towards you. Exhale, wave down, up, down. Good. We're going to stop there. Now shake it out. Good. Now, freestyle. Do whatever you want. I'm going to do down dog, but you can do whatever you want here for another minute or so. Just loosen ourselves up so that when we sit down, we're ready. Yeah, feel free to sigh, let out some noise. Life is hard, man. You know, like, whew. This is your time to attend to yourself and nourish yourself and listen to your body. And what do you need here? Good. Okay. Okay, let's come to a comfortable seat for meditation. And I completely endorse lying down if you ever feel like that's something you need to do for your body. Sometimes I have to do that too. So decide how you're doing tonight and what do you need? Chair, cushion, glass of wine? No, I'm kidding. Supine, floor, what's comfortable for you? We're going to sit for about a 40-minute sit. But what I'm going to do is something I do every once in a while. Halfway through, I'm going to ring the bell just once. And that is an invitation for you. If you're cooking and you're feeling great, you're in the flow, don't do anything, just stay. Let the bell be like a clarifying sound to freshen up the awareness, but you don't need to move. On the other hand, if the body needs some kind of adjustment, that is an invitation to, with mindfulness, switch positions, adjust your legs, whatever you need to do. 15, 20-second shift, and then settle back in. And I'll ring the bell again to signal that we're re-entering for the last half of the sit. All right? So now that you know that you'll have that, really make a commitment to yourself to sit with as much stillness as you can. And if you absolutely have to move, then do so slowly with mindfulness, without interrupting the thread of stability, moment-to-moment mindfulness. That's the test. So we're settling in now. Let's take a moment to arouse our motivation for practice, heartfelt, personal motivation. What brings you to the cushion, to the mat each day, today? What do you envision for your life? And then infuse that personal motivation with the bodhicitta, the spirit, the mind that longs to awaken for the benefit of oneself and all beings. We're going to do a few minutes of pranayama to help set the mind into an expansive, relaxed state. And the first phase of this breath work, this pranayama, is to, again, inhale and feel the belly rise forward, expand forward. And then exhale, the belly releases back towards the spine. 2 more like this. Inhale, consciously filling from the base to the top, and let that abdomen expand forward. And then exhale, the abdomen releases back towards the spine. And again, inhale, exhale, relaxing tension, knowing that the whole while the main emphasis is on relaxation. If in any time you don't feel that, then release the work with the breath and breathe at your own rhythm. So now let's all align our breath with an exhale together. And we're going to practice resonance breathing with a pattern. So inhale, count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold in. 1, 2. Exhale, count of 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding. 1, 2. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding. 1, 2. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding. 1, 2. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding. 1, 2. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now relax any control of the breath. Consciously shift into complete, uncontrived breath, your own rhythm. And you may feel the after effect of the pranayama, soothing the nervous system, calming the mind. Preparation for mindfulness of breathing, where now we simply observe the breath without changing it. So we switch into a different state of mind. So leave the technique behind. And check your posture. The spine is nice and straight but not rigid. The chin is drawn in towards the center of the throat, lengthening the back of the neck. The tip of the tongue resting against the upper palate at the root of the top front teeth. The eyes are closed or slightly open at a downward cast, softening the gaze. Shoulders relaxed, blades down the back, chest is lifted. The arms relaxed. The palms either face down on the thighs or in your lap. Right palm on top of the left and the thumbs gently touching. The legs in a comfortable position, cross-legged or feet square on the ground if you're in the chair. Feel a sense of dignity. A sense of dignity of taking your seat. Something special is happening here. We value this precious opportunity to practice. The feeling of relaxation, spaciousness, gratitude, joy. And simply the capacity to be with whatever is here right now. Pleasure, pain, joy, sadness, distraction, clarity. We're simply opening up the space for more air, more room to breathe. The anchor for mindfulness is the sensations of the breath as it flows in and out of the body, through the nose or mouth, down through the throat, filling the lungs, and then in reverse. Releasing distraction as soon as you notice, and come back to this very moment. Thread the eye of the needle, moment to moment awareness. And feel the ground beneath you, the stability of the earth holding you. Like the stability of the bones giving you structure. The earth is there to catch you when you fall. This feeling of relaxing and releasing into presence is supported by the ground. We trust it. We know it. We rely on it. And yet the mind is like the wind. It's not like the earth element. It flies this way and that, fickle like the wind. And so the way we bring stability in the mind is through concentrating our attention using various techniques. So now within this grounded relaxation, we introduce one of those techniques, counting the breath. From 1 to 21. We inhale, the top of the inhalation, silently count 1. Then exhale. The next breath, inhale. Top of the in-breath, count 2. And if keep going like this, letting go of the counting as soon as you touch it. The main focal point is the sensations of the breath as it flows in and out of the body. 1 to 21 at your own pace. And if you get lost, lose count, start again at 1. No judgment, just a fresh start. Recommit. And then release control. And release the counting. Perhaps you feel like the plane is off the ground now. Relaxation and stability. So now don't let the mind wander. Stay with the breath in this present moment. This is where you get to know yourself, the deeper self. We gain entry into that deeper domain by staying and not being fickle with the attention. Are we worthy of that? We do our time there. Recommit. The third aspect of meditation, shamatha, calm abiding. First relaxation, then stability, and then the third is clarity. And this is when we start to open the eyes if they were closed. Slowly open the eyes and gaze at a comfortable angle past the tip of the nose towards the floor, and then soften the gaze. Lantern consciousness diffuse. And we shift into the practice of shamatha called settling the mind in its natural state. Where now we take the domain of the mind itself as the anchor. It's as if we could see the mind, thoughts coming and going within the space of the mind. Rest your awareness in that domain, the arena, the space of the mind. Observe thoughts coming and going, but don't get pulled into them. They arise, that's not a problem. It's the grasping or the aversion that takes us into delusion. Can we leave the mind just as it is? In its own natural limpidity, clarity. Thought is simply movement of the mind. Awareness is the stillness. Meditation shows us the non-duality of stillness and movement. Can you rest in that? Experience where movement and stillness are not two, not separate, not two different things. Leave the mind just as it is, at ease within itself, unfabricated, uncontrived. Let the mind settle in its natural state, just as it is. If the mind feels dull from time to time, you could ask, who is dull? Who is meditating? And then look. Look at the looker. And then release. Rest in the experience that ensues. And then rest in your own clarity. You may even identify awareness, presence, rigpa. Like the air we breathe, it's always here. In that sense, it's not extraordinary. It's quite ordinary. Stabilize in that. What's extraordinary is the wandering mind and delusion. Nature of the mind is said to be sel dung rigpa, luminosity and knowing, cognizance, an awareness imbued with clarity, vividness, a brilliant luminosity, like awareness that alights. When it alights upon any object, it illuminates it. natural radiance suffuses our awareness. In the last couple minutes here, see if you can connect with that experience of luminosity, clear light, nature of mind. And then now gently allow the eyes to close and feel that luminosity pervade even the inner darkness, the inner space. And feel now the warmth of sunlight, the warmth of the sun in the heart chakra. We have earth, air, space, water pumping through our veins and tissues. And feel now the warmth of fire in the belly and the radiance of that Agni, that fire in the belly, manifesting as the warmth above in the heart space. And feel that heart space like an orb of light. And we'll end with a few minutes of chanting the compassion mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. Jewel in the heart of the lotus, the mantra for the Buddha Avalokiteshvara, Buddha of compassion. And we'll let this be our compassion practice tonight. There's so much going on in the world. The heart breaks as it bears witness to all the suffering in the world. This is nothing new. Avalokiteshvara said that when he witnessed the suffering of all the realms of existence, he cried, he wept, and in response to his heartfelt wish to alleviate this suffering, he grew 1,000 arms with 1,000 eyes in each palm, in the palm of each hand, so that he could bear witness to the suffering in the world. And 13 heads. So sometimes we feel like this when we see, we wish we could multiply ourselves, be of service in some way beyond our limited capacity. Let the mantra open that capacity within us. And feel the sound of the prayer, blessing waves, the jinlap, the blessing waves radiate out in all directions to specific people you may know who need some prayer, to groups, to countries, people in danger, suffering in some way. Let this be where you channel that wish to be of benefit. Let your heart sing. Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om 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 Mani. Now mantra japa. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Recite just loud enough for your collarbone to hear you. Buzzing like the bees. Let it vibrate through your body and let your prayers move through sound. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 At your own pace. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Let's close the session of meditation by a brief dedication of merit, any positive energy through our collective practice. We offer it up for the benefit of all beings everywhere. May they trace the sweetness of their own true nature. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. So there are different ways to chant mantra. You can do it with melody, you can do it kirtan style, you can do it mantra japa with this under the breath kind of meditative. It'd be interesting to read about. I'm sure there have been studies about the way it affects the brain to do mantra japa. There's something very hypnotic about it, and it's beautiful. It clicks you into a different brainwave state, I'm sure. But then you can also chant quietly to yourself, silently. So it's really up to you. You can do phases of beginning with melody and then going mantra japa, and then sometimes silent, mentally reciting it. And then really it's intuitive. There's a lot of us Westerners hold ourselves really stiff. We think, oh, we have to go from mindfulness of the breath to stiffness while we recite the mantra. No, you let yourself sway. Let yourself. It's a emotive, but not like in a emotional way. There's a bhav, there's a mood to it. So really let yourself go and let yourself into it when you recite mantra. Really, there's no right or wrong there. It's about the motivation. What's your motivation? To channel your prayers, your deepest intention to be of some kind of benefit in this world, even though we might feel incompetent sometimes. And we can put our activism in our spiritual practice through mantra recitation, And it's a form of shamatha. It's a form of meditative concentration. It's a really joyful thing. And if you don't have a mala, get a mala. And don't, use it. It's not a costume. Us Westerners can feel a little shy, like, oh, right? Like, oh, mala. That's not American tradition. But if you know the meaning, you know the meaning. You're keeping it alive. It's okay. Keep the tradition alive. My Tibetan teachers want us to recite mantra. They're not like, oh, you're culturally appropriating. Stop reciting that mantra on that mala. It's ridiculous. Now, if you wear a mala on your wrist and you don't use it, that's a little performative. Use it. I'm guilt tripping you into using it. To reciting mantra. You can hold it in the Buddhist tradition. You can hold your mala with your left or your right hand. Doesn't matter. In the Hindu tradition, you only hold it in the right. And you can ask me why, but I'm not going to volunteer it unless somebody asks me.
Why?
Is that you?
Yeah.
You know why? No, you don't. That's okay. Good. Well, it's the butt wiping issue. So, left hand is considered the inauspicious side. We eat in India. You eat with the right hand. You shake hands with the right hand. You do important, make offerings to the shrine, the deities, with the right hand. Of course you can hold, but the left hand is used for cleaning after you go to the bathroom. They didn't always have toilet paper. It's a modern invention. And I went to India in the mid-90s. There was not a lot of toilet paper around. You had to get with the program. And so you do that, and then you wash your hands. But so it makes sense why you wouldn't hold something sacred like the mala and do mantra japa with your left hand. Now, up in Tibet, they don't do that. I honestly don't know what they did before toilet paper was imported. Rocks, leaves. Yeah, so I have a habit of holding my mala in my left hand, but you could do either one. And you put the mala resting it over the index finger or the middle finger. Either one is fine. And as you recite, you pull the bead with the thumb And you can hold it up here if that's comfortable for you and recite Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, one mantra per mala, per bead. Or you can hold it down on your knee. Technically, it's inauspicious to have it touching the floor, but your cushion's fine. Or you can hold it in both hands on your lap and recite. It's a very sweet thing to do. It's like your friend, And the more you recite on the mala, the more Shakti, the more prayer, the more of your prayer, the more Shakti and prayer of the mantras that you're reciting get infused into your mala. And so it takes on a character of its own, Like this one, it has character. It's old. This one's old. I've had to restring it a lot. Sometimes we have counter beads if we're accumulating lots of mantra. You count. One mala has 108 beads. It's said to be 54 for the syllables, all the consonants and vowels in the Sanskrit alphabet. And then the other 54 is the sound of ah that suffuses each vowel and consonant to make 108. There are other interpretations of why 108. But yeah, it's like a rosary like they have in Christianity, Catholicism. Same idea. So if you don't have a mala, find one that you like and practice with it. How many people practice mantra on malas? Yeah. It has meaning for you, yeah? So half the room needs to go out to the store and get a mala. All right. Okay. Any questions about the practice before we do the Dharma talk? I have a question for you. I had this funny idea of like, if I did a podcast, I could name it Dharma Talk. Like car talk. Dharma Talk. What do you think? Stupid? Kevin thought it was silly. He's like, no. I'm like, it's so bad, it's good. It's a good idea. He's like, no. Not so good. Dharma Talk. Did you guys ever listen to Car Talk? That's pretty funny. Those guys were funny. What happened to them? Did they retire?
Yeah.
Oh.
Got really old.
I know. It was kind of like, that was bygone era.
I think they were tired.
They
were exhausted.
They were exhausted. Boy, they were funny.
One of them has passed.
And I didn't want to say it, but I'm sorry. Boy, they were funny brothers. Gosh, yeah, special. Okay, so I'm going to invite my friend up, Nicole Chase, who is going to sub for me next week. She's a Dharma teacher and a kirtan artist and a yoga teacher, and she's been coming to class to get to know the community. Hi, dear.
Hi.
And I thought, why don't you come up and share the space a little bit, and we can talk about the slogan tonight together. You can share that with me. And I'd love for people to get to know you. And I'd love in some way to open up the space for you to offer more things here. Nicole is a friend of somebody I think a lot of you know, a dear friend of mine, Eve Ekman, and she teaches at the San Francisco Dharma Collective, a place I used to teach all the time. And so we're just sharing the love. So yeah, do you want to say anything? Any
It's just a thrill to be here with all of you, and I look forward to being here, subbing on the 11th. And
That's right.
yeah, this is such a beautiful space and a beautiful community. I was here last week on Tuesday, and then I came to Kirtan, and I'm just feeling really connected to everyone who's a part of this community. So thank you for having me.
Warm welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. Great. Yeah. So I thought it could be fun for us to volley back and forth with this next slogan. It's the 51st, right? The 51st slogan. Who in the group wants to read it loud and proud? Number 51. Yes, please.
This time, practice the main
Haha, we have to unpack this. This time, practice the main points. That's for the folks on YouTube, in case you couldn't hear. Okay, so I'm going to kick it off, and then I'll volley it over to Nicole, and then she'll volley it back to me in our last 15 minutes. So this time, practice the main points. So this time, what do they mean by this time?
Not next time.
Not next time. You're so smart. It also means this life, like, don't waste this life, not next life, right? That's good. So in this life, practice the main points. So don't let moment pass you by to practice Dharma. Remember, that was the instruction from last time, was don't pass up any opportunity to practice Dharma. Can somebody read actually what the instruction was for number 50, just to refresh my memory?
Don't be swayed by external circumstances.
Right. Don't be swayed by external circumstances. But the subtext, or really like the core of that, means don't let external circumstances pull you off course of your Dharma practice. And one very important way to do that is to not think that practice only happens on the cushion, and then when we go out there, we kind of drop it. No, don't pass up any opportunity to practice Dharma. So joys and sorrows, felicity, adversity, pleasure, pain, all of it is a chance to be like, where's my mind right now? How am I reacting? Can I turn this into a teaching, a lesson, an opportunity to practice patience? So now here we are, again, this time. So in this moment, yes, not next time, not next life, this life. So the main points, there's 3. The main point, the first one, is to get to a point where we can feel that all beings are equal to ourselves, meaning that their freedom from suffering is just as important as my freedom from suffering. Recognizing that we are all interrelated in that way, that I'm not a solitary entity over here and then you're over there, and that on a kind of cosmic level we're all interrelated, but also on a community level. And of course in Mahayana they take it even further and say, and this is an edgy one, they say, then get to a point not only that you consider beings as equal to you, but as more important than you. And that's, I always dread having to teach this because it's kind of like, what? Really? But, what's spiritual teaching if it's not helping us reach towards something that feels bigger than us? And when I feel into that, the first phase of simply getting to a point where I can consider beings equal to myself. I mean, maybe for a lot of us that's not hard. It has beautiful repercussions for justice work, for anti-racist work, for all of this kind of, healing white supremacy thinking, whether it's about race, but also like man over matter, man over nature, all this kind of patriarchal misogyny, all of these things that has caused all of us to suffer, not just women, not just the earth. Men suffer too, right? Men have suffered a ton. Suck it up, don't cry, be tough. I mean, come on. So we've all suffered because of these ways of thinking. They need to heal. And so I love these teachings of considering beings equal, including animals, nature. And then based on that, then we can even start to feel like, okay, in this moment, maybe my needs aren't the most important thing. And there's something liberating in that. It's not always about me, right? Oh, what a relief. What a fucking relief, you know? No self, no problem. It's the best kept secret. Here we think, oh, I have to assert myself and it's about me. And But when we can heal, yes, the deficient self to a point where there's confidence and you know who you are, then there's a joy and like, what about you? How are you? How can I help you? So that is the first point. It's about compassion. It's about feeling with, having empathy and understanding, and growing our capacity to be bigger than our individual sense of what I want and what I need. So it's a practice. And then there's the second point. What is the second point, my dear?
Well, the second point has to do with the relationship between study and practice. And it's often taught that the relationship between study and practice is like the two wings of an airplane, that they are both essential and complementary, which is absolutely true. The second point, though, it leans a little bit more into practice being a bit more important than study itself, with the kind of supposition that if we don't use what we have studied and what we come to know and put it into action, then we don't have that kind of interchange that we're seeking. We don't show up in the world in a different way, that we aren't able to see the compassion for other and serving others as more important than serving ourselves. So the idea is that, yes, practice is important. And coming back to this kind of first kind of sentiment of every single moment of our lives, now is the time to practice, that we start to see every moment of our lives, every interaction, as an opportunity to be in that practice. And really that practices that we do, formalized practices, are just preparation for us to show up for those moments of our lives, right? I just started to reread Pema Chodron's When Things Fall Apart. And one of the main lessons that I came away from was, again and again, chapter after chapter, I saw this theme of now. When is it time to practice? When is it time to show up? When is it time to awaken? The time is now. This moment, we can be in practice. We can awaken. I've started to really appreciate the small things as teachers. One of the things lately that I've really liked as a teachable moment as one of my teachers is email correspondence. Email correspondence, has anybody ever found that kind of tricky?
Oh, yeah.
Right? There's so much miscommunication and misinterpretation that can come through email correspondence. I had a moment last week where I got an email and I noticed immediately that I started to tense up and I felt offended. And then I felt really hurt. And then it quickly moved to feeling just annoyed. And then I felt angry. And I felt this strong impulse to go in and respond with something pretty snarky. And only then did I catch myself like, oh, okay, come back to practice. You know what this is, right? This happens automatically. But then we have a moment where we can pause, can come back to the present moment, can breathe deeply, can use the practice in our lives and respond a little bit differently. So I've been really appreciating those small moments.
I got that same email.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How many
Oh my
times
God, I
this
had the
week?
same
Yeah, how many
reaction.
times? Like,
But I actually did respond.
Yeah.
It was okay. But then I sent, like, right after I sent it, I was like, oh, can I unsend that? Wait, it says delete email. That doesn't mean unsend email. Oh, shit. Okay.
You have 5 seconds.
I missed it.
Yeah.
But you can go into the settings, can't you, and say, yeah. And then I was like, shit, should have had the settings. Got to have like, how long? Like an hour? No, it's too late then. It's so hard not to want to send that snarky email.
It is.
Damn.
Very, very hard. Yeah.
Well, can you say a little bit more? if you didn't send the snarky email,
Oh.
how did you get yourself through that moment?
So I love this question. Um, once I took a few breaths and calmed myself down, I realized what had happened. I realized the automatic reaction. I said, I'm gonna wait about an hour. Like, I'm not gonna respond right now. And by the time I had finished with that hour, I went back, I read the email again, and I interpreted it a completely different way. I thought, oh, she misunderstood my words. Maybe I just need to be more clear, and I need to ask some questions to see what was actually meant. And I realized that once I did respond and asked some good questions, that I had misinterpreted the situation, right? That I had sent a kind of short, terse email, and then I got a terse email back with offense, and we just needed to come to understanding. So by taking that time and coming back to practice, I was able to see it in a different way and able to respond with compassion, which was well received.
Or just curiosity?
Yeah,
Which is totally
curiosity.
different.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're welcome.
Very good. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
And the third point.
the third point. Well, the third point does kind of dovetail nicely off of what you just said. It's about bodhicitta, and with these teachings of mind training, this is the core teaching and emphasis. It's the Sanskrit word is bodhicitta, means the spirit or the heart of awakening. It contains within it so much, and it's essentially, this third point says, infuse everything that you do with bodhicitta. And that also includes, compassion and care for ourselves. But bodhicitta just doesn't just mean compassion. I've talked about this before, but maybe not so much recently. There are two aspects of bodhicitta. One is, yes, compassion, and where we cultivate qualities like loving kindness and equanimity and empathetic joy and compassion. Those are they're called the four measurables or the four Brahma Viharas. And those are very beautiful meditations and qualities that we aspire to cultivate through practice. And we also practice compassion through what is called the six perfections of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. So it's classic bodhisattva path type of Buddhist Mahayana great vehicle teachings, classic. But then there's ultimate bodhicitta, which is actually not that different, but it can seem completely different. Ultimate bodhicitta is understanding emptiness and tasting the essential nature of our own mind, which is empty but luminous, like we played with in the meditation. And that's also bodhicitta. Now, you might think, well, compassion and emptiness? Well, what they say is that the nature of mind contains both of those, that through a direct realization of the empty nature of the mind, we then tap into that interconnectivity, that feeling of like, oh, I'm feeling with the world. I'm one, one with everything. That those kind of peak moments that we can have in meditation or other types of experiences. And through that interconnectedness, we have compassion. We naturally feel for and with others. So it's not such a stretch. And we can be more spacious and compassionate for ourselves too. And that this bodhicitta, A, compassion, and B, understanding emptiness and not reifying and solidifying myself, my concepts, my identity, yourself, your identity, everything, reality, phenomena, but actually understanding the dreamlike nature of phenomena is a huge aspect of the path as well. And so if we can walk through life holding these two truths within us, then we are practicing the main points This is the third of the three main points. And I mean, this is a lifetime of study, these things. And then putting them into practice is really your koan to walk out of here with, too. And then we keep coming back and we can keep talking about it. But so this is what this instruction, number 51, is pointing to, is now. Like you said, now. Practice now. You're pissed off? Practice. Feel despair and hopelessness by watching the news? Well, turn it off for a little bit, but also then practice and breathe. And like, okay, how do I deal with the overwhelm, with the despair, with the feeling that the world is burning and maybe really it is the end of times? You know, like, what do I do with that? You know, how do I show up for myself when I'm suffering? Do I ignore it? Do I distract away from it? Do I judge? Or can I put my hand on my heart and say, I'm here for you? It's like reparenting. I'm here for you. You can cry. You can lie down for a little bit, get in the bathtub. You can do whatever you need to do, but breathe with it and be there for yourself. And then feel that compassion growing within yourself. And then you can feel that for others. And then also knowing that this feeling is impermanent. It changes. And that's the other aspect of emptiness. I say to my kid, I've got a 25-year-old daughter who's still having a hard time, you know. It's hard. It's hard for these kids right now. I think it's harder. And sometimes they'll call me in despair. You know, something's happened and they're just having like some anxiety or something. And one piece of advice I give Tara is something that helped me a lot, and I think maybe it'll help you if you need it. When you're feeling like that, you know, when you're feeling despair, sadness, or overwhelm or hopelessness, just stay in the moment with yourself. Let the wave crash. Let the feeling be there. Ask for a hug or hug yourself or whatever you need. Be there in that moment with that feeling. And don't get caught up with, you know, future thinking. I'm never going to get the job. I'm never going to be able to pay the bills. I'm a piece of shit. You know, whatever these thoughts about the future take us, if we let ourselves fantasize or doom scroll into the future when we're in these tender, heartbroken, depressed, anxious places, not a lot of benefit comes out of it, but instead feel the impermanence of it. Know that this will change, that the clouds part after the rain, and just be in the moment. Practice right now in that way. That's why we meditate. So, you know, we're holding a lot right now. A lot of my students, a lot of my community, there's a lot of us are having a hard time. You know, you're not the only one if you are too. And, you know, lean on each other, lean on Sangha, lean on your friends, your people who you can have deep conversations with. Really reach out to them. And if you haven't heard from a friend lately, reach out to them. You know, no news doesn't mean good news. You know what I'm saying? Like, reach out, and check in. How are you doing? You want to talk? You know? We need each other right now. And a lot of Buddhists, we tend to be kind of isolated introverts. But we need each other. So coming to places like this, church, other places we go, whatever you do, find your community, spend time with them, don't isolate, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Because it fucking sucks right now in a lot of ways. A lot of people are getting sick, health stuff, and then the global thing, the shit show of our government and the world, and now Canada, and what? Of course, Ukraine and the heartbreak in the world and all different places that are happening right now. This is samsara, though. You know, this is samsara. We're in the Kali Yuga. We're in the Kali Yuga. This is the degenerate era. So that's the good news. In the Indian cosmology, this isn't a surprise. And I don't know about you, but in some way, it's kind of comforting to me. It's like, you know, we have the Big Bang, we expand for a while, and then there's a contraction, and then there will be a cave in, and then there'll be another Big Bang. World systems are born and they die, they born and they die. Infinite. We've been reborn, we've gone around and round this cycle innumerable times. All of us have probably been together at one point or another. That's why we're here right now. We are in this room right now because we have karma together. It's not random. You know? And so the big picture is, this is a really big tragic comedy happening right now. And for some reason, we choose to reincarnate again and again and do it again. Maybe we'll get it right the next time. Fuck, I'm halfway through my life and I'm not getting it right again. Gotta come back again. Well, the Bodhisattva vows to come back again and again until all beings are free. So then it's like, oh, right, I made that vow. That's why I'm back here. That's why you're back here. Maybe. That's my proposal. Take it or leave it. Do you know what the Kali Yuga literally means? It doesn't mean the Yuga. Yuga means era. And it doesn't mean the goddess Kali. I used to think it did. Until my teacher said, no. Because Kali Yuga means the degenerate era. Like when we say like degeneration, we mean we used to be bodies of light people. We didn't have to eat or drink. We'd float around. We didn't have to have sex because we were blissed out all the time. And we didn't need to procreate in that way. We didn't have physical bodies. Now it fucking sucks, you know? Like, what the hell? That can also be a lot of fun. But we're in a different era. And so we're not in the era of bliss and light. We're in the era of the Kali Yuga. Kali is an ancient Indian dice game where if you rolled the die and you got the side with the 1 dot, you lose the whole game. And that's the Kali. It's not the same word as the Indian goddess. It's short Kali. Short vowels. So we got the short end of the stick, my friends. We rolled the die and we got the 1 dot. We're at that time in our cosmic arc of space-time. So let's be kind to each other. Practice the Dharma. It's possible. And continue to work for the welfare of all beings. Because we're here to love and be loved. There's my pep talk. I felt like I needed to share more because a lot of us are hurting right now, and I just wanted to open that up a little bit. How was that? Was that okay? You cool? Yeah? We're cool with not being cool? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy tea out in the lobby and make a new friend. Introduce yourself to somebody you don't know. That's my ask. Just turn around right now and say, hey, I'm Ashley. What's your name? I'm not Ashley, I'm Chandra. She's Ashley. Ernesto. And then to turn somebody else, if somebody's alone, turn to them and say hi. Hi. We have the same, I have your middle name. Hi, Suzanne. I'm Suzanne.
I just have to say, it reminds me when you go to church.
Yeah.
Turn to your neighbor and say,
I love that. Oh, like we could say that. It's a wonderful tradition. I know we can learn things from church. Peace be with you.
And also with you.
And also with you. Good. I like this. People talking. I like that.